for powerhouse at the NCAA level, the University of Minnesota Duluth. Holm digs in front of him, Perfetti lines up for the face-off against James Hamblin, and we're underway. One thing I'm curious about, Jamie, you look at the two rosters, we talked about similarities, but in terms of 20 goal scorers at any level, Winnipeg 2, Edmonton 7. It's a big difference. We'll see whether anything materializes as far as that goes. Digging in the corner and working it free as Bourgault, slammed it off the side of the net, then able to recover against Kuzman, digging at that far post and eventually raked out of there by Perfetti. Daniel Torgerson at center, whistles a pass cross ice that's tipped out of play by Philip Broberg 36 seconds in.
Going back to Arvid at home, the starting goaltender for the Winnipeg Jets. His first year in North America last year. Got up to a great start, had a little rough middle part of his season, so trying to get that confidence back here to start this tournament.
6th round pick in 2017. So the Jets will be patient with him. Still very early, especially in a goaltender's career. Here's Noah Philp. A wrist shot flutters wide. Ex-University of Alberta standout. And now battling in the corner. He's got Tullio hovering close by. One of two 40-goal scorers in the Ontario League from last year. Dressed for this Young Stars tournament. Kemp's shot redirected, sent down the ice, and Fanti, after taking a peek, will fall on it.
A little bit of shenanigans in front of the Oiler goal there. Of course, maybe the rivalry not built up between these kids right now, but maybe a lot later on.
Number 95 for Winnipeg, Simon Kubicek. I know him with the Edmonton Oil Kings. Tough customer. I would not be surprised if he's got the blood up a little bit at this tournament.
Right. Not afraid to throw the big hit at all. And fans love that.
And he's not afraid to answer the bell if someone wants to take issue with it. Here's Philp up to Tullio. Stymied initially, and then he'll toss it down deep. Recovered by Isaac Johnson for the Jets. And now attempting to clear, but Johannesson couldn't do it initially. Second effort successful. And now Nikkanen will advance. Shot Berthelot from the corner. Kicks off the boards and all the way inside the Winnipeg line. We've played 100 seconds, no score. South Oakland Events Center. Typically gorgeous day in Penticton. Temperature plus 20. A shot handled by Fanti, although it was headed wide. And now Zilkin to the point, ripped wide. Kuzman watches that shot end up behind the net and eventually retrieved and held. Caron tried to center. That one off the skate of Reed Schaefer, Edmonton's first-round pick from this past summer. Caron dashing toward the net, couldn't pull the trigger. Heavy collision. Puck pops loose for a moment. Dubinsky working for Edmonton, but Perfetti closes quickly. Reversed. Jason waiting. Dubinsky will try to spoon it to him, but Kuzman picked it off. He'll get it back from Lundmark and then snap his stick in half. Feathered ahead successfully by Torgerson. Laid off the boards by Broberg and then mishandled. Carrying in, Dean Stewart with a cough up, but then Max Warner fought the puck a little bit in the high slot. Cam Bites had his pocket picked by Torgerson, and now it's Broberg for Edmonton, sending it in deep.
You're a defenseman. You love when your forward comes back on the forecheck and gets that puck out of your zone when you're having a hard time getting it out.
Well, and that's always a challenge at this type of tournament because, of course, the goaltender and defense haven't worked together. Likewise, transitional plays moving up ice. It's not that seamless system that's honed over the course of a 6-month hockey season. Bourgault taking a big hit, but getting it down deep was Story. And now Bratbuck. Chance sent around. Bongiovanni. Taken from the point. Kubicek shot redirected. Bongiovanni let one fly. Deflected off Kemp. Retrieved and ultimately held. carried back up ice by Darian Keel.
Kubicek with a big check in the neutral zone, and then Dylan Holloway returns the favor on the big Czechia defenseman.
4 minutes gone by in our scoreless first. Here's Noah Dory trying to hit Matvei Petrov. Many were surprised by his 40-goal campaign in North Bay last year. He thus far outperforming his late-round draft status. 6th round in 21. Here's a steal by Nikkanen. Swept it across. Berthollet dishes. Shot by Johnson wide. Careens off the boards and collected by Tullio. Philp winds and fires. That ricocheted into the corner. Tullio. Sandwiched immediately by Lundmark. Nikkanen in the mix and eventually rolls free for Kuzmin. And he'll backhand it up the right-hand side. Berthollet.
Nikkanen suspecting Kesselring behind him and leaned back in the shoulder. Kesselring feeling that hit.
Covered by Holm. And you make a good point. Like so many of these European players, it takes a while. You know, that first year in North America is so vital. You're learning a new country, culture, a language in many cases. So it figures that his play would improve over the second half of the season.
And did just that.
And Garis won the face-off. Warner wide with a shot. Another guy that the Oilers scouting staff very impressed with. Of course, 6'3", 190 pounds. You love that as a right shot on the back end. Jets get it in deep. Missing the big hit was Caron. And now Broberg, the smooth skating first rounder from 2019. Swoops in, tried to center. Denied. Stewart and Wilson. Little miscommunication. Swept out to Kemp. Lets it fly and a save. Holm does well to control the rebound.
And any type of nerves for Arvid Holm don't look like they're there. You hold on to that rebound. Nothing. That shot, sorry. No big rebound. He looks good to start on.
Well, and he's also one of those accomplished American Hockey League players. I mean, people forget how tough a league the AHL is. Never mind what you talked about, Jamie, in terms of his first year in North America.
Yeah.
You're not just easing your way into it.
Yeah, in Europe, schedule very set. The American Hockey League, because of travel and all those little extras, hard to get a real good rhythm going as an American Hockey League goaltender.
Keeled to Cam Bites, and he whistled one wide. Kemp back to the point, and Cam beats, turns it loose again. That ended up wide of the mark. Kemp sent it down low. Cam Bites hovering. Dubinsky there with support. Jake Chason in front, and Cam Bites can't find the handle. Chason got hurt in rookie camp last year. Kind of hindered his season to some degree. A bit of a shoulder problem. Johannesson with a clear for the Jets. Back to center. Kesselring will shovel it down low, and Holm will control as both teams make wholesale changes in personnel. We played 6.5. No score. Edmonton and Winnipeg to kick off the Young Stars tournament from Penticton, BC. A drive from the point, tipped wide. Taken by Kuzmin. Tried to flip one in front, intercepted by Hamlin. Biding his time over the line. And a 20-goal campaign last year for the Edmonton product who went undrafted. Kesselring. And now Dylan Holloway wheeling, shooting, and that was kicked aside by Holm. Holloway back on it. Product of the University of Wisconsin. Hamblin tucks it in front. Kesselring a shot. That might have glanced off Holloway. Eventually retrieved and cleared to Lambert. Bongiovanni, Lambert to the net, backhander denied, rebound score. And the Jets will take a 1-0 lead. Fanti made the initial save, and it might have caromed off the initial shooter and back in.
Well, Lambert's got world-class speed. The Jets said after the draft this past June that he was the best skater in the draft. And he used that speed, taking the pass from Bon Giovanni, cutting in. And I think you're right. Fanti makes a save, and the puck goes off a body and trickles through his legs. Jets on the board first, courtesy of Brad Lambert.
Brad Lambert, a pair of medals for Finland at the World Juniors. North American, I guess, raised to some degree, but lived his entire life in Finland. His dad, Ross, active in the business. And, of course, we talked about his uncle, Lane, head coach of the New York Islanders. But he'll play for the Finnish national team, and, again, twice as taking home bronze and silver at the World Juniors. Shot by Berthollet coming over the line, and that sailed over the right shoulder of Ryan Fanti. Tullio a little behind Philp, and so he'll just shoot it in. Lambert at 7:31 for the Winnipeg Jets, scoring off his own rebound. Kubicek down low, battling Zilkin. Kemp took it away for Edmonton, and a nice clear by Schaefer, who broke out in a big way last year. Now a steal. And moving in is Savoy, waiting, shooting, and a save made by Holm. He'll cover.
Johannesson blowing a tire there, and that brings the odd man rush for the Edmonton Oilers. But again, Arvid Holm makes the save, controls the rebound, and keeps it a one-goal game.
What I liked about Holm here, and again, it could be his AHL experience, doesn't commit too early, waits Savoy out, and makes a routine save.
Yeah, because Savoy talented enough to get that shot short side if he wanted to.
Savoy actually ended Ryan Fanti's season last year with a game-winning goal with 6 minutes to go in a regional final between Denver and Minnesota Duluth. I'm sure there's been some chirping over over the last couple of days. Savoy off to Kiel, but now Schaefer back to center. Schaefer, a 30-goal campaign last year. Actually a teammate of Winnipeg's Ty Bauer, who's not in uniform tonight, but that was a team that went all the way to the Western Hockey League final before losing to Kubicek and the Edmonton Oil Kings. Lead pass, Jake Jason, with the Oilers down 1-0 to open this Young Stars tournament. Puck pried loose, fed in front, loading and shooting Dory. Took too long, deflected Kesselring.
Winnipeg Jets first goal.
Wheeling behind the net, waiting, shooting, and that sails into the corner. Taken off the boards by Cam Bites. Chason. Pass tipped, ultimately retrieved and tucked ahead. Torgerson was tripped up. No penalty was called. And the Oilers will regroup. Cole Dubinsky on the move with Bourgault. He was stripped. Kesselring will jump up in the play. Plowing his way. Protecting the puck. And then has it stolen away by Kubicek. He'll dump on net. Handled by Fanti. He'll chip it up the right-hand boards. Johannesson will knock it down. Fanti this time will look for Bourgault, himself a first-round pick, 2021, taken 22nd overall. Bourgault, nifty move, quick shot and a save, and he's drawn a penalty, and Holm will cover. And when we come back, Edmonton will be on a power play looking to tie the game. This, the opener of the Young Stars tournament from Penticton. Jets 1, Oilers no score.
Scale the Skaha Bluffs. Barrel down the twisted trails. Paddle through those serene waters. Penticton has it all and more. Stroll down to the farmer's market. Sample the local bounty and revel in our natural beauty. Penticton, the mecca of adventure, the place for everyone. Go to visitpenticton.com and plan your trip now.
Penticton, BC offers so much to see and do. Leave the keys and explore on foot, by bike, or paddling for an experience that's almost fuel-free. Out in the fresh Okanagan air, not only are you saving money, you're feeling better with exercise and the peace of mind that comes through responsible and sustainable travel. Feel the freedom of exploring Penticton fuel-free. Almost. Learn more at visitpenticton.com.
Cole Perfetti, a great opportunity to get his game legs going. Was hurt last year, missed out on a glorious chance to set either Jets first or second line with the injury to Mark Scheifele, but here getting those game legs going. Let's take a look at the penalty, the first of the game, and it's going against the Winnipeg Jets and Holloway. What a move around Kubicek, and Kubicek forced to take the penalty, so we'll get a look at the Young Stars Oilers power play unit here in the first period.
And again, very minimal work at this stage, even of rookie camp. Basically, a practice yesterday, a practice this morning for Edmonton. I know Winnipeg got a practice in on Wednesday and then practiced again on Thursday, but very early to actually expect the special teams to look smooth operationally.
Right. And the low shots on goal total, big part of just trying to get the game legs going. Jets had a long travel day yesterday. Winnipeg to Calgary, Calgary to Kelowna, bus to Penticton. They weren't very happy about skating, but a great idea from the coaching staff.
Well, Mark Morrison really doesn't care whether they'd like to or not. Off the draw, driven off the boards. A lot of history between these two coaching staffs. Colin Chalk working the Edmonton bench in conjunction with Keith McCambridge, who was either in Manitoba or with the Winnipeg Jets coaching staff from 2009 through 2016, originally from Thompson, Manitoba. He and Mark Morrison coached against each other in the ECHL. Dished out and cleared by Kuzman. Recovered back in his own zone by Hamblin. Out there with Bourgault. And now Petrov swoops in with Holloway. 4-forward look. Broberg the only defenseman. Bourgault working his way through some traffic. Got around Boland. Put it behind for Hamblin. Now Bourgault squeezed off. But ultimately that puck trickles back to Broberg. He'll move it. Quickly centered. Deflected Bourgault. Wrist shot kicked aside. Holm got a piece. And now you've got Petrov. And a man shaken up. Centering pass deflected. Clearly, Caron is in a little disarray. He'll get over to the bench. Quick dish. Bourgault inside. Holloway loads and fires. And that ricocheted off a slightly hobbled Boland. And eventually Holloway must retrieve back in his own end. 20 seconds on the power play, 7 3/4 to go here in this first period. Jets lead at 1-0 on a goal by Brad Lambert. Max Warner off to Keel. Rifles it around the glass, and now you've got Philp. Quick dish to the corner, back to Warner. Now Carter Savoy. Backdoor one-timer score. A beautiful feed from Carter Savoy, and Darian Keel makes no mistake. Keel played last year in the ECHL for Fort Wayne, where his head coach, Colin Chalk, played a decade. 1-1.
And that's all on Savoy. Just great patience shown by the Oiler forward. Waits. Looks like he's going to go behind the net, then fires the cross-crease pass to Keel. Easy tap-in for the Oiler forward. 1-1 power play goal from Keel.
Well, I mentioned Savoy ending Fanti season. He didn't stop there. In the semifinal, as you recall, that loaded University of Michigan club saw its season squelched thanks to an OT winner from Carter Savoy. But here he dishes, and it's now tied. Power play goal at 12:39. Sent in by Edmonton, cleared by Kubicek. Shot toward the net by Keel. And now Holm will drop it off. Schaefer able to choke the play off on the far side. But his cross seamer broken up, and now Kesselring off to Chason. He'll shoot it in. Knocked down by Holm. And left for Johannesson. Sent up the right-hand side. Broken up there by Dory and quickly shot back in. Cam Bites. Chase on in front. Quick shot off the side of the net. That was Cole Dubinsky bidding for the go-ahead goal. Cam Bites working. Peeled out of there. Jets had a chance to clear, but Kesselring knocked down Bongiovanni. Cam Bites tried to slither one in front, and now a high stick will be called against Jake Chason. Lifted the stick, and it rode up. And now as soon as Edmonton touches up, we'll get the whistle, and it'll be the Winnipeg Jets on a power play with 6:04 to go in our first period, tied at 1.
Tough shift for Bongiovanni. First the big hit from Kesselring, and then the high stick to the face. You'll take that. Jets go with the power play. As you saw, some of the momentum heading back to the Edmonton Oilers after that 1-1-1 goal. And here we'll see the first power play of the tournament for Winnipeg.
So second unit that scored for Edmonton, first unit for Winnipeg, the usual suspects, Perfetti, Torgerson, and Morellis. Perfetti to the point, Johannesson sent it over, Lambert. He has the Winnipeg goal, Perfetti. Interior pass into the skates of Torgerson and eventually cleared by Hamblin. Didn't get quite what he wanted on that, but the Jets must regroup back in their own end anyway. The pestering Holloway.
Goal from Edmonton. It's Keel from Savoy. Just one assist on that 1-1-1 goal.
Jamming it down low, Torgerson. Cleared up the boards, but not out. Johannesson. Perfetti. Bobbled, and Lambert must regroup. Built, crowding. And then Johannesson nearly gave it away. Bailed out by Lambert. Button hooks and dishes off Kuzmin. Shot blocked. And Warner got in the lane and allowed Philp to clear routinely. 50 seconds.
Oilers doing a great job taking away the middle of the ice in the defense zone on this power play for the Jets, sorry.
On the move. And dishing is Boland. Chaz Lucius. Bongiovanni. Kuzmin. Bongiovanni shot through a screen, save Fanti. Hard check by Keel, pried the puck free and allowed a clear by Angaris. And that'll be recovered by Kuzmin. Just 15 seconds left on the man advantage. 4 1/4 to go in the first period, tied at 1. Moving it to center, Bongiovanni, closed out by Holloway. Wilson over to Stewart, rifled ahead, Bongiovanni. Put it around the board, sneaking it. Had it stolen cleanly by Holloway. A dart over to Kemp. Jammed down low, Hamblin in on the forecheck against Stewart and Wilson. Hamblin powering through. This is a tough matchup for Wilson, just 18. Doesn't have that man strength yet, Jamie. Here's
it'll come, just not there yet.
Oh, it'll come. Heck of an achievement to earn an invite at 18 out of the Western League. When you're not drafted, Kesselring up through center. Now Bourgault with a head of steam on his backhand. Poke checked away. Home loose in front. And a shot was blocked. Philp. Jets can't find the rebound, and finally Home does with 3:11 on the game clock.
Already in this first period, you can see why the Oilers made Xavier Bourgault a first-round pick. You just see all the skills there, jumping on the loose puck in the neutral zone, stepping around the defenseman. Only a poke check from Arvid Home saves a glorious scoring chance for Bourgault.
Xavier Bourgault, a 36-goal campaign last year for Shawinigan in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. Face-off, won by Philp, but juggled, and Warner has to fall back to center. He'll toss it down low, and it's Lundmark. Quick handoff, Kubicek, up the right-hand side, Torgerson. Overskated, bailed out Morellis. Perfetti. Tullio onto him. Drive Kubicek tipped in front and eventually collected and cleared by Philp. handled at center. Perfetti. And now Morellis trying to spin his way around Warner. Broberg challenges. Puck trickles free for a moment. Kubicek. A lunging Perfetti. Kubicek. Johannesson. Slide step to his left. Hard hit Warner. And again, the Oiler brass loves the early returns on Max Warner. Looking to clear. Broberg hoists it successfully down the middle of the ice. Edmonton a change. Jets a clear. Bongiovanni. Kuzman. They'll generously give him center. Fanti with a handoff. Keel. Middle of the ice. Choked off Angaras. Wilson. Beaten up ice by Schaefer. A hard hit. And that flattens Savoy. Support in the form of Schaefer. Carved out of there by Lucius. But held in Keel, who has the game-time goal for Edmonton. Kuzman. Isaac Johnson. And now a check laid by Angaras. That'll shake the puck free and taking over Schaefer. Bearing down on him, and Johnson forced the tough pass. Here's a shot just wide. Nikinen stepping up. Initially having a look was Stewart, but the threat dies and the Oilers clear. Carried back in, Nikinen. Kesselring disrupts him. Back behind, Johnson. Berthollet with support. Tugged out of there by Dubinsky. And now Kesselring with a minute to go. Chase on. Kesselring guided one wide. Didn't get all he wanted on that. Cam bites. Denied. And clearing Bolin. Caromed off Chase on. And now recovered. And held on to by Lundmark. Outlet pass on target. Perfetti. Weaving. Centering. That went through everyone. Picked up by Dubinsky. Chase on. Dubinsky tried to give it back to him. Johannesson failed to clear. Broberg. Warner. Shot blocked. 10 seconds as Broberg fields a pass. Tried to center for Holloway. That was tipped. Warner has to hurry here. Blasted by Perfetti. Holm left it for Johannesson. And the first period will end without further incident. Lambert scoring at 7:31. Even strength for the Jets. And then Edmonton getting the equalizer, a power play goal. Darian Keel off a sublime feed from Carter Savoy. And we are dead even through the opening 20 minutes of this opener at the Young Stars Tournament from South Okanagan Event Center.
Well, lots of things going in the off season for the Winnipeg Jets. Some fans got a great opportunity to go fishing with some members of the Jets. One of them, our good friend Cole Perfetti.
It's ruined fishing for me back home because this is insane. Coming up here, it's really remote, and no phone service once you get out on the lake. So it's been awesome. Got some pictures, and I was fortunate enough to bring my dad as well. He's loving it. So yeah, everything's good so far.
If we can make a difference or an impact to mental health for Project 11 underneath the Winnipeg Jets, I think the second season might be even better if we do go through it. And maybe we can raise a lot more money and awareness to mental health for helping people out.
Certainly the best fishing I've ever had in my life, and we've done quite a bit of fishing over the years, so I'm just so thankful that we were able to come along.
It's been tremendous. The Charnabys of the family, and everybody that works with them together. It's great people and great accommodations. Can't say enough about how nice everybody is.
I mean, I don't think I'm going to be able to fish anywhere else ever again because I just keep catching fish and I'm not a good fisherman. So, I mean, everybody here has been so friendly and good at being patient with me and helping get fish off my hook. So it's been awesome.
Do you have any bets with Dylan going on?
Not today. I mean, we were jokingly like talking about most caught, biggest fish. There's one. And let's get. Not bad. There you go.
Kucherov slipped and fell. Kyle Connor darts in, has a breakaway, backhand shot, he scores! Kyle Connor with his second short-handed goal of the year, and Winnipeg leads it by 2 at 5-3. How about that?
He'll leave for Wheeler. Wheeler, it opens up for him a little bit. Scores! Blake Wheeler, like a running back in football.
The slot area, Wierenski going toward the backhand, little backhand shot, go that's off. Rebound and tipped ahead. Ehlers has got a breakaway from center ice in. Ehlers moves in. Ehlers shoots. Score! A breakaway between the legs of Bert Lincoln.
And got tied up at center, slowing it up. Ehlers scores! Nikolai Ehlers rips it from the left side, top corner.
A big shot from Stanley who stopped on the puck.
Dion Connor scores!
Kyle Connor making 4 straight games with a goal. Toward his left, down along the board, still has a puck, but a shot, no! He scores! Logan Stanley from an impossible angle.
Dylan right back in, on for Ehlers scores! Nikolai Ehlers on the stick and off the stick in a heartbeat.
Off the instep there of DeMello, now for Lowry, busting right in. Little backhander goal, he scores! Tape to tape from DeMello. He walked in on a breakaway, slipped it 5-hole along the ice on Saros.
Rebound off the boards, and a shot scored! Pierre-Luc Dubois wires it.
But he got double teamed, but got it back toward the line. Morrissey out in front, and a shot, they score! What a pass by Morrissey! Net front to Dubois. By Ehlers. Ehlers got around one of the officials, cut toward the slot, let a shot go, he scores! Nikolai Ehlers with an individual rush and buried it with a wrist shot to the top corner on Demko. Across the line, Pionkin with a slot for Shifley, cutting toward the net, let it backhander go, he scores! What an absolute beauty by Mark Shifley! Forehand, backhand to the top of the net. Time for one last run. Here's Shifley with some speed across the line. Shifley toe drag, shooting, score! Mark Shifley with a great burst of speed, a correspondingly great move.
Up the chase on Shifley. Shifley back for Blake Wheeler. Quickly to the net. Score! Pierre-Luc Dubois, and the Jets have knotted this game up in 2.
Tony Nato back toward the line from Pionk. He'll wait for it, walk off the board, make a little spinorama move, got to the high slot, great shot, he scores! What a move by Neil Pionk off the post and in. That was a beauty, and we are tied at 1.
Sanford on for Wheeler. Wheeler outside, inside, around to Giordano. Scores! Blake Wheeler! What a goal!
For Schmidt, and the headman pass now for Kyle Connor. He got a bit of a break on his off wing, moved in, let a shot go, he scores! How about that from Kyle Connor? Now for Tony Nato, cutting toward the net, let a shot go, he scores! What a move by Dominic Tony Nato!
Back into his own zone. Connor with a nice little move. Has Morrissey with a fire, scores!
Kyle Connor will win it for Winnipeg! Jets win! Jets win! Jets win in overtime!
Well, there was a Jets highlight, but right now we're going to turn it over to the Edmonton Oilers side of the program. 1-1 after 1 at the Young Stars Tournament. I'm Jack Michaels, now joined by Tyler Wright, who's the Director of Player Personnel, Head of Amateur Scouting. In short, this tournament is kind of the fruits of your labors. What do you make of that opening 20 minutes, and is it tough to evaluate a game that inevitably can get scrambly at times?
Yeah, but, we've been waiting all summer for this, and you want to get the kids out there and get them comfortable. So, you take it for what it is, and you try to evaluate the small things, and you just hope there's progression from game on.
And I imagine part of it is how you evaluate the inevitable pressure that comes with it, how the players react to that, because I'm sure there's bound to be some jitters for some of these players getting their first opportunity to shine in front of the brass.
Yeah, I think, it's like in anything that they want to come here and play well. So, I think as the tournament progresses, you're going to see a lot of better hockey for sure.
Yeah, and I want to get into beyond just the first round picks. Everyone loves to talk about the Dylan Holloways and the Cole Perfettis when they come to this tournament. But I'd like you to maybe highlight a few guys that Edmontonians should become familiar with, because you've been pleased with some of the depth picks that you've had in the last couple of years and the progress they've been making. Can you highlight a few for us?
Sure. Ryan Fatty was a college free agent goalie. Looking forward to see him. Ty Tullio had a really good year in the OHL. Petrov, another guy from the OHL. Phil was a U of A signing. So Max Warner, 7th round pick. Jay Chason hurt his shoulder in camp last year. So another guy we're looking at. We're happy with what we've got, but we're trying to push these guys to take another step.
And some of the camp invites, I think some people may not be familiar with how they fit into the piece, but some of those camp invites are potentially playing for jobs in Bakersfield. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I think when you don't have a lot of picks at times, you got to get creative, and so we got some guys here trying to earn contracts, and whether that's going back to Bakersfield or back to junior. So it's exciting, and we're ready to get it going.
Can a guy elevate himself at this tournament by making a particularly positive impression?
Yeah, for sure. You make impressions more than just on the score clock, and it's the small intangibles, face-off circles, competitiveness, physical face-offs, all those things. So, we're looking at all aspects, and we're trying to get better.
The return of this tournament, Edmonton has not been here since 2017. Is it fair to say that you and Ken's experience with the event at Traverse City helped maybe revitalize interest and bring this tournament back?
Well, for sure. We get to look at Winnipeg, Calgary, Vancouver. So, chance to evaluate our own players, but also look at other teams in our division and in our conference.
And for you, when you look at the guys on the ice, do you start seeing the differences from the last time you saw them? Can you see the growth kind of before your eyes a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit, but the pandemic has really kind of put a damper on things. So this is really the first look. Get them together, get them in a structured environment, and we're looking for a good weekend.
Tyler, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's Tyler Wright, Director of Player Personnel for the Edmonton Oilers. We'll be back in just a moment, but first a look at the best assists from this past Winnipeg Jets campaign.
And on for Stastny and on for Wheeler and back for Stastny and back for Wheeler. He'll lead for Wheelers. On for Wheeler, scores! Blake Wheeler extends his goal streak in a terrific setup by Nikolai Ehlers.
Far side, it found Stastny, pass it off again, near side, Pionk, slap shot, and score! Neil Pionk finds the back of the net with that slap shot. Now for Perfetti, across the line for Schmidt. Schmidt will put it back for Perfetti, came off the wall, out in front, the shot, they score! Pierre-Luc Dubois took a 4-foot pass from Cole Perfetti and slammed it home. It's a power play goal. Near side, Voracek. Voracek at center ice, played it in over the middle. It's broken up, and there's a breakaway for Connor. He'll dart in, forehand, shot, score! Kyle Connor with another shorthanded goal, and it's 2-0 Winnipeg.
That's just a great cheeky pass up the middle to Kyle Connor.
Off the corner boards for Bowen Byram, and it's turned over. Ehlers in front, score!
Well, Ehlers stays with it, but Bowen Byram throws the puck up the middle of the ice. It's picked off.
2-1 Winnipeg. Cleared back toward the line. Here's Shifley in front. Redirect. They score! Blake Wheeler on a doorstep. On a slap pass by Shifley. It's a power play goal. Nikolai Ehlers with some speed. Trying to catch up as Wheeler. Ehlers across the line for Wheeler. He scores! Wheeler shifted around the D and broke in, and what a perfect pass from Ehlers.
Pionk, Shifley into the slot. Shot by Harkins, scores!
Just a perfect little entry. Shifley to Perfetti. Oh man, what a great decision just to leave that puck right under the wheel.
Quickly across the line for Stastny. Chipped it back in behind that St. Louis net. Sent it out in front. Ehlers a shot. He scores! Well, it all came with a face-off win inside their own zone, and then up the ice they came. Center ice, grabbed by Tony Nato, across the line, dropped it for Harkins, moving in, shoots, score! Jansen Harkins in the fourth line. Outside of it to grab the puck, a little passing play and a drop pass, and Harkins beats Rask.
Down by 1, and they kill off the penalty to Pierre-Luc Dubois. Wheeler sends it back for Dubois, scores! Pierre-Luc Dubois out of the penalty box. Finds the puck from Wheeler and finds the back of the net.
Here they come in the reload, darting in. Ehlers down the left wing boards, out in front for Barron. He let a shot go, he scores! Morgan Barron with his first as a Winnipeg Jet, and his second in the National Hockey League, and we are tied at 1.
Fiala sends this one across, looking for Merrill. Perfetti puts it up for Connor. Connor's got room. Connor in! Shoots and scores!
D to D here, and Perfetti there takes advantage of a bad pass, and what a pass he makes to Connor. And those hands, all those hands of Connor.
Scale the Skaha Bluffs. Barrel down the twisted trails. Paddle through those serene waters. Penticton has it all and more. Stroll down to the farmer's market. Sample the local bounty and revel in our natural beauty. Penticton, the mecca of adventure, the place for everyone. Go to visitpenticton.com and plan your trip now.
Take a look back. The first period, just 2 goals to talk about. The Jets open the scoring on a beautiful burst of speed from Brad Lambert, the 30th overall pick of this past draft in June. Used the backhand, slips it through. Then Oilers on the power play. Some great puck movement by the youngsters. Eventually Savoy waits, sends it across, and Keel bangs it home as he sneaks in backdoor. Simon Lundmark watches it go by. Arvid home as well. Oilers out shooting The Jets, 9-5 in the opening 20 minutes of the 2022 Young Stars Tournament.
And Jamie, that goal seemed to make a mockery of my earlier point about how the special teams might lack flow and chemistry. Yeah. That was a beauty.
Yeah, and that's what skill does. Even though things are choppy for the most part, every once in a while you'll see that wonderful skill from something like Carter Savoy. Sends that beautiful pass across. It's just fantastic to see. 1-1 after 20 as we close in from the start of the second period.
But as you pointed out, Brad Lambert's rush, indicative of what he brings to the table, playing in straight lines and utilizing that speed properly right to the net. It doesn't go in for him. He's able to bang it back in.
We had a great talk walking over here from the hotel, and I said the two practices that I saw, you saw that great speed that Brad Lambert had. But you're wondering, is it just because they're practicing, you're not going full speed? You got a good look at it right there in game situation.
And what I liked is the stick-to-itiveness where he followed it up and was able to bury it. There's Cole Perfetti preparing to take the second period opening face-off against James Hamblin. Quick conference as we get set to start this second period. Again, the Oilers out shooting the Jets 9-5, but having to settle for a 1-1 tie as the Jets scored the only goal at even strength. Face-off controlled by Perfetti, and Kuzman will set the table for period 2. On the move, Dylan Holloway, challenged by Kuzman, forces the puck free. Torgerson a clear to Morellis. Stymied initially and then was able to get it in deep.
I don't know about you, Jack. The Iceplex back in Winnipeg, freezing cold, but it is warm in this building here ttonight.
Why do you say that? Just because I've gone through 3 shirts already?
Do not lift up your arm. That's all. We're going to avoid that.
I look like Norm Peterson, one of those old Cheers reruns. Icing call whistled against Edmonton, 37 seconds into the second period. Oilers next in action tomorrow night, 8:30 Mountain against the Calgary Flames, and then Winnipeg will tee it up on Sunday for Central, and that'll be against Vancouver.
Jazz Lucian about to take this draw. Guy that didn't get enough time because of an injury.
Shot taken by Bongiovanni, and that was deflected out of play behind Ryan Fanti.
Played the NCAA last year. Did Chaz Lucius that ankle surgery. Didn't allow him to come back. So this is his first game action, much like Cole Perfetti.
Lucius would have seen plenty of Fanti. Of course, Minnesota and Duluth, arch rivals. Loaded hockey programs up and around the state of Minnesota. Driven in hard, and Kubicek trying to squeeze it through Fanti. He's able to recover. You got to give Ryan Fanti credit. He played behind a guy that broke the NCAA record for most consecutive starts, a guy by the name of Hunter Shepard, now under contract to Washington. He started 112 in a row. I talked to Ryan this morning. I said, hey, what happened in 1920? You were banged up? And he goes, no, I didn't play. I just sat there the whole year, playing behind an All-American. And, of course, Fanti an All-American last year as he carried Duluth to one step shy of the Frozen Four.
With the mental strength to not play that much. And then when you get your chance, you have to perform. Says a lot about him.
Played 37 of 42 games on the Bulldogs' schedule last year. Perfetti. In a 1-1 tie, watches Kubicek send it down low. Supporting Bolin. Shot Kubicek. Could not squeak it through. Schaefer, who then backhands it ahead. Big hit, Kubicek again, right at the blue line, and Schaefer chests up a little bit, and Kubicek wants him. We told you this in the pregame that Kubicek would try to brawl if he could, and the linesmen quickly separate the two potential combatants. I'm told Reed Schaefer can handle himself as well as being a 30-goal scorer. He can chuck him.
6'3", 214, 88 penalty minutes a year ago with the Seattle Thunderbirds of the Western Hockey League. So you're right. There's a lot more to come. But you like to see those big open ice hits to get the blood going again here. Great crowd here tonight, South Okanagan Event Center here in Penticton, BC.
Well, in 88 minutes doesn't sound like a lot, but Jamie, as you know, 10s don't count in the Western League, so 88's a respectable number. Berthollet up through center, he'll jab at it. Fanti out to handle. Philp in the mix against Berthollet, comes away with a puck and leads a 3-on-2. Poke checked away. And now Isaac Johnson with Berthollet alongside. Fed to the middle. That was tipped. Rattled around Tullio and Philp. And eventually forced back in. Berthollet threw a shot wide. Rebound. A hard hit on Noah Dory. Kicked ahead for Philp. In on the forecheck. Takes over against Lundmark. Tried to set up Chase on, but that rattled off a skate. And here's Torgerson. Forced out wide by Warner. Again, that long reach, the right-handed shot. Oilers feel like they're pretty solid on the right side in terms of their developmental defense. Pinching in, Cam bites. Now Dubinsky. Working his way around Kuzman. To the net. Short side stuff. Holm covered that one up. And eventually it's tossed out. Lundmark doing the honors. Ripped back in. Handled off the stick of Warner by Holm.
Full credit there to Dubinsky putting on a show down low for the Edmonton Oilers as he gets around Kuzman. Tries to wrap it in short side on Holm, but the big guy staying up tight against the near post. Taking that away. Good shift there from Dubinsky.
I thought Tyler Wright made a good point between periods there, Jamie, when he said, really, for so many of these scouts, it's a first real look. Off a turnover, Bourgault almost slammed one home. But in many cases, these guys haven't had an opportunity to play full seasons, and the scouts likewise restricted on travel, haven't necessarily been able to check as much on the progress as you normally would. Keel shot redirected out of play, 16-12 to go in the second period. In short, it just feels good to be back together.
And I think last year was a little bit closer to normal, but now, you know, scouts, GMs, this tournament, all 4 teams. The only time I've been in here was 2018, just Vancouver and Winnipeg. But just to see all the scouts, GMs, management staff rolling around Penticton just feels great to see.
Oilers actually did not lose in regulation in their last 12 appearances, covering 4 separate Young Stars tournaments from 2014 to 2017, going 10-0-2 over that stretch. Jets wheel it around. Trying to control Dory. Schaefer is able to nudge it, and Morelos will reset for the Jets. 4.5 gone by second period, tied at 1. Standing up and making the play back to center, Dory. Stewart. Taken away eventually by Angaris. He finds Schaefer, and out to center for Bourgault. Dump and chase, first back, Johannesson. Up the right-hand side, Berthollet takes a hit to make the play. Nikkanen, now Johannesson trying to get around Warner. Long reach, force that shot up over top. Back to Kubicek, reaching for it, Holloway. Broberg knocked off balance. Here's Holloway. Bourgault, little spin move, popped by Berthollet. Holloway tried to sneak one inside and eventually cleared by Johannesson. Berthollet. That pass from Niikanen eluded him. But now Niikanen got a big body. Down low to Isaac Johnson. Lundmark waiting, shooting, redirected wide of Fanti. And the rebound taken by Broberg. We've seen that at times for the Jets tonight, having trouble getting shots through from the point.
And that's a great thing to see if the Oilers coaching staff take away that middle, make it hard to get to the front of the net. Oilers doing a good job so far tonight.
Philp from Kiel. Kuzman turned it over. Back behind, loading up, Tullio. Kiel off a stick, Lundmark. Kuzman had a chance to clear, could not do it, but then got his body into Philp, and then another turnover and a shot off the glove of Holm, and eventually collected and cleared Torgerson, but not out. Niikanen was checked. Wild shot from Philp, ends up Tullio, fanned on a centering attempt, got it back, and then when he tried to sneak inside, was disrupted, and Morelos with a clear.
I think if you're the Jets, you're happy with 2 turnovers in your own zone, but didn't give up a real good quality scoring chance.
Lundmark, and eventually angled down low. This should be icing, and there's the whistle with 13:05 to go in the second period, and we're tied at 1. Shots relatively quiet, 2-2 thus far in the second period.
Well, about 2 minutes ago, what you want to see from a young player, are you going to take a hit to make a play? It's easy to play offense, not so easy to play in the defensive end. Berthollet took that check from Hamblin, made the play, Jets got the puck out, and that's what scouts, management like to see from a young player.
You coming back for Ringo Starr in a few weeks? The South Okanagan Event Center?
We're busy then, aren't we?
Oh, yeah, that's right. We got an NHL season to worry about.
I'll take the day off.
Hey, no news with the Jets lately, huh?
We'll talk about that in a second. There's a new patch on the jersey. That's big.
Yeah. Is that covering up the old C or what? Jets today announcing a shift in leadership. Here's a turnover and a wraparound effort by Bon Giovanni, taken away by Jake Chason. His pass leads Cam Bites down low. Puck knocked off his stick. Wyatt Wilson cleared off the boards and safely back inside the Edmonton line. Broberg hustles over. Sent it off the glass, and Savoy back through center. Angaris checked off the puck by Kubicek. Up the middle, Lucius. Sent ahead, Bon Giovanni, and now Fanti to handle. Bon Giovanni, and his pass goes awry. You know, I mentioned Broberg getting some minutes against LA in the playoffs, Jamie. It's funny, he played 3 minutes, yet in the aftermath of Game 6, which might have been Connor McDavid's best game ever, first guy he mentioned, the post-game presser, Philip Broberg.
Right.
Trying to bring everyone into the mix.
And that's what captains do, leadership. That's what you have to do. The young guys hear that. They want to go that extra mile for their teammates.
Icing waved off, getting inside Boland. In that sense, considering the coaching change, it's a little bit different in Winnipeg. I can't say I was stunned. Here's Perfetti behind. Tried to go short side, smacked out of midair. Regained by Perfetti. Dished off Lundmark. Kuzman. Lundmark. Hamblin challenges. Kuzman. Zilkin. Danny Zilkin tried to center, intercepted and cleared carefully by Phil Kemp, product of Yale University. Berthollet, and now punched up the left-hand side and ushered in by Isaac Johnson. Fanti. Berthollet knocked it down, taken away by Holloway, regained by Berthollet. Sent back, Stewart. Tripped up, Holloway, Berthollet, short side pass and a Huge cross-check in front, landed by Noah Dory. Went uncalled. Got the body on him. Got away with it up the right-hand side. On the move, a centering pass redirected in. Kesselring centered, and it went off Stewart.
And then a little slash afterward, but Stewart doing the right thing. Taking away the pass, Arvid home, leaving the side posts to take away the shot, and an unfortunate bounce. Kesselring looking in front, Stewart turns, pivots, goes off his stick, and behind Arvid home. An odd man rush there by the Edmonton Oilers, and sometimes luck is not in your favor. And that's the case there for the Winnipeg Jets.
Stewart could not have put that in a more difficult spot if he had tried. Just a perfect redirection from an Oiler perspective. Kesselring trying to hit Holloway. Instead, finds its way upstairs, and he'll get the goal at 10:04. 2-1 Edmonton. First lead of the night for the Oiler prospects. Max Warner. 9.5 to go, period 2. Shimmies his way around a check and sees it booted in by Petrov. Holm. Up the right side, Torgerson canceled out by Broberg. Warner, Broberg, Chason, and Dubinsky. Checked against the boards, trying to fight his way through Kubacek. Cam Bites momentarily had it. Johannesson able to clear, took a late hit. That's going to be called against Edmonton. Chad Lucius denied as he entered against Kielb, but now the penalty will be called, and it will be an interference minor handed out to Cole Dubinsky. Second power play of the night for Winnipeg coming up when we come back.
Scale the Skaha Bluffs. Barrel down the twisted trails. Paddle through those serene waters. Penticton has it all and more. Stroll down to the farmer's market. Sample the local bounty and revel in our natural beauty. Penticton, the mecca of adventure, the place for everyone. Go to visitpenticton.com and plan your trip now.
Penticton, BC offers so much to see and do. Leave the keys and explore on foot, by bike, or paddling for an experience that's almost fuel-free. Out in the fresh Okanagan air, not only are you saving money, you're feeling better with exercise and the peace of mind that comes through responsible and sustainable travel. Feel the freedom of exploring Penticton fuel-free. Almost. Learn more at visitpenticton.com.
Jets have a chance to tie this hockey game up, courtesy of a power play. On that play there from Dubinsky, late hit, interference is the call. Jets' second man advantage of the night. And going back to the leadership decision for Rick Bowness. We had the discussion with Blake Wheeler, first conversation between the two. You got to change something. Blake Wheeler, this is going to take I think, in my opinion, going to take some of the pressure off his shoulders. To me, he's still a point per game player, and it opens up opportunities for leadership for like Adam Lowry, Nate Schmidt, Brendan Dillon. There's a more veteran room right now. So take some of that stress from Blake Wheeler away.
And that man, Keith McCambridge, now on the Edmonton bench as an assistant in Bakersfield under Colin Chalk, coached Adam Lowry and the St. John's Ice Caps to a American Hockey League Calder Cup final where they were beaten by that Norfolk juggernaut. Off the draw, Lambert. Well, Wheeler's 36. I think it's also indicative that there might be a transition eventually coming. And again, with Bowness taking over, here's a quick chance in front, and denied was Morellis. I mean, he was point blank. Maybe Fanny's best save of the night. Perfetti centering and jamming at it. Lambert couldn't finish. Perfetti, backdoor, one-timer score, and the Jets have tied this game at 2. Morelos, that time, made no mistake.
Because of the COVID cases, injuries, Greg Morelos moved his way from the fourth line to the top line with the Manitoba Moose last year. Great opportunity for him, former first-round pick at the Kitchener Rangers, but that's all Cole Perfetti. There's that skill. Didn't give up, finds another open player. Morelos, the one-timer, game tied. Pretty passing play started by Cole Perfetti.
Lambert will get the second assist. It's a power play goal. Each team has one in this game, and we're tied once more. 2-2. 8 minutes to go, second period. Kesselring scampering to center and off to Schaefer. Grabbed and cleared by Kuzman. One-handed back the other way by Warner. Scooped up, Schaefer. Could not find the handle. And again, first game back, you're going to see hands. Kind of the last thing to come around as you get into the rhythm and flow of an organized hockey game, as opposed to summer drills and shinny. Here's Keel. A couple beautiful moves, and then had a poke check forced out by Lucius. Intercepted by Schaefer, steps in, absorbs the hit. Bongiovanni gives way, quick shot, and a save made on Phil Kemp, protecting that far side, Arvid Holm.
Just like you said, Greg Morelos, the power play goal from Perfetti, Brad Lambert. So Lambert, 2 points here tonight in his rookie Jets debut. And Lambert started the tournament off pretty well at the World Juniors in Edmonton, but it was a reminder for everybody. The World Juniors, a 19-year-old tournament. So Brad Lambert, plenty of chances to play for his country down the road and play a big part of that.
Shot by Kesselring, guided out of play by Holm. And again, he's got a bronze in 21, silver in 22, so he's off to a pretty good start. And he was a guy selected 2 picks before Reed Schaefer. This was actually Winnipeg's first full draft in terms of having at least 7 picks in 5 years, because, of course, they've been going after it as contenders the last several years. Isaac Johnson has shot. They had 13 combined picks in the previous 3 years, so 22 was a chance to load up, and, of course, couple of first-rounders. Backing off, taking his time, Noah Dory. Game tied at 2, 6.5 to go, second period. Dory. Unable to snake one through against Wyatt Wilson. Stewart, who inadvertently deflected the puck from Kesselring into his own net earlier, sees it cleared down the middle by Nikinen. Recovered by Warner. Lead pass tipped by Berthollet, but recovered by Holloway. Berthollet with Holloway burrowing his way back into the play. Now dishing off. Hamblin. Shot from the point. Kicked out. Rebound. Save on Broberg. And Holm looks smooth in making those 2 stops.
It's all about tracking the puck. You make that first save, stay with it, stay big, take away the net. That's exactly what Arvid Holm did there in the Oilers' bid to take the lead back with 6 minutes to go here in the second period.
But again, you see what Tyler Wright's talking about with respect to Max Warner. No hesitation, making sure to get the shot through, and then Broberg pinching in hard for the second attempt. Holm with the denial. Lambert kicked it back to his defense. Kubicek under duress, floated one off the boards and cleared with ease by Bolin. Here's Zulkin giving way to Lambert. Blind pass intercepted by Holloway. Lambert recovers and slings it back behind the goal. Fanti. Broberg at center. Stripped. Bolin took a hard shot from Holloway, but it was brought back to the red by Zulkin and sent in deep. 5 and change remaining. Period 2. Tied at 2. Bourgault got a piece. That'll wave off any sort of icing. Dubinsky battling to get into the mix with Chason and Cam Bites.
Long time there, waiting for the puck to come loose and some cross checks and pushes.
Finally off the kick plate and cleared ahead. Morellis scored the game-time goal on the power play just a few minutes ago. Cam Bites the other way. Dino down low for Dubinsky. Wilson stands his ground. Perfetti bumped off by Chason. Kesselring. Dory a shot. And a save through traffic made by Holm. Chipped safely out by the Jets. And Kesselring. Dory. And Dubinsky shovels it down low.
Jets tied this hockey game, and teams just waiting and being patient at this point.
Lucius. Kesselring in his grill. Fails to clear, though. Kubicek wide. Kesselring unable to muster a clear. What a move by Lambert to the net. Unable to slither it home. Rebound tucked ahead to Angaris.
Brad Lambert going to the bench, talking to the referee, felt he was slashed on the way to the front of the net.
Well, he's been the Jets' most explosive player, no question. Holm able to scoop up a loose puck.
And you'll have to see that. Look at this. See the skill. And I'm just trying to see where the infraction happened. But
I think Kesselring might have gotten in on the hands, and that's what Lambert was complaining about.
And he's still sitting on the bench, talking to the training staff right now, the medical staff, sorry. But that lack of fear to head at the front of the net, that's what you like to see from a young player.
Young Stars tournament over the years. So many great players have played here. Scheifele, Ehlers on the Winnipeg side. Shot for the point, redirected wide. Of course, McDavid, Draisaitl, Nurse. In short, Edmonton's core, all showing up at the Young Stars tournament. Fished out and finally cleared by Berthelot. Connor Hellebuck, for that matter, was here in Penticton. Broberg up the boards. Petrov coughed it up. Here's Isaac Johnson. Quick dish. Nikkanen couldn't pull the trigger. Lundmark toward the net. Slapped down and the other way by Broberg. This will be icing.
If Nikkanen's right-handed shot, that's a glorious chance for the Winnipeg Jets, but that pass goes into his skates, fumbles it, and the Oilers clear it down the ice with 2:45 to go here in the second period.
You know, I mentioned the Jets finally had a full draft, Jamie, but of course that's because not in contention, had to win their last four just to finish 39, 32, and 11 this year. What's the buzz in the Winnipeg market beyond the captaincy in terms of expectations this year?
I just think you have a lot of players that underachieve, that have something to prove in their own minds. A lot of guys took credit, or not credit, but responsibility.
Here's Phil to the net, denied by Holm, one of his best saves.
Going back to what is said, a lot of players, I'll go like Neil Pionk, said he had to look in the mirror, didn't have the year he wanted to. I think it's a dangerous team, right? Mark Scheifele, off year for him because of COVID, injuries. So you have some guys, something to prove. And I think that makes the Jets pretty dangerous heading to this new season with a new head coach.
Perfetti a little give and go with Zilkin. He'll shovel it back to the point. Of course, Perfetti unable to contribute the way he would have liked with the back injury. Shot wide by Kubicek, and now Perfetti back on the puck. Quick dish. Johannesson, shot save, Fanti. Juicy rebound, but steered out of danger by Holloway. Pump back in, Perfetti. Well, Perfetti and Lambert have not disappointed tonight. Here's Hamblin. Sent in deep. Lundmark able to usher it the other way, just out of the reach of Morelos, and that'll be an icing call with 1:13 to go in the second period. Jamie, you make a good point. I mean, Wheeler's still 60 points in 65 games last year. You mentioned Scheifele, a bit of an off year, riddled with injuries, but Ehlers, Pierre-Luc Dubois, 28 goals apiece. I think it was Kyle Connor's best year. I mean, that guy might be the most underappreciated star in the league, 47 a year ago. Kesselring a drive. And with Hellebuck, he's most nights going to give you a chance.
And he didn't play poorly last year.
But not
it wasn't the
form.
Vezina guy that we've seen so many times in so many games over his career.
Well, and to be honest with you, right now, Jamie, we're at a time in the league where there's fewer elite goaltenders.
Yeah.
So when you've got a guy who is probably in that top 5 group and he doesn't quite play to that standard, it takes away the advantage you naturally have over 80% of the league.
And the year he was a finalist, 2017-18, fantastic. The Vezina year, that's the expectation you have with him. So, to your point, when he's a little bit off, it throws the team off.
Well, in that year, the Jets go to the conference final, just to magnify what we're talking about. Here's Reed Schaefer. And he blistered one up and out of play. Of course, goaltending with 7 seconds to go, tied at 2. Goaltending's going to be a story in Edmonton this year. For the first time in 4 years, the combo will not be Mike Smith and Mikko Koskinen. Instead, Jack Campbell signed as a free agent in the offseason, and Stuart Skinner, who played ahead of Fanti last year in Bakersfield when Fanti joined the Condors late, fresh out of Minnesota Duluth.
Jack Campbell, no stranger to playing with a microscope on him, coming from Toronto.
7 ticks of the clock. Face-off win for Dubinsky. Broberg a shot, and that was sent to the corner. At the horn, one last chance from the corner, easily repelled by Arvid Holm. And we remain where we were after the opening 20 minutes. 40 minutes complete, and still tied at 2, Edmonton and Winnipeg. So, we're at the Young Stars tournament in Penticton. And if you want more coverage of exactly how the Edmonton Oilers rookies are navigating their way through the Young Stars tournament and their camp, well, let's have a look.
We're in beautiful Penticton, British Columbia, as the Oilers prospects take to the ice here in the Okanagan to kick off the Young Stars Classic weekend. Tony Broad here alongside 630 Ched's Cam Moon. And Cam, it's a star-studded prospect pool for the Oilers here this weekend. 4 first-round picks, including 2 players looking to make their mark with the big club as early as this season. Of course, I'm talking about defenseman Philip Broberg and forward Dylan Holloway.
Yeah, these guys are close. And I mean, in Philip Broberg's case, he played 23 games with the Oilers last season, also split time in Bakersfield. He's right there, right on the cusp of being a regular NHLer. So for him, it's a little bit different, I would think. Dylan Holloway as well. He got up into the one playoff game with Edmonton, but played in Bakersfield, had some injury troubles last year, but worked his way through it. Those guys are really, really close. So for them, this is the start of what they hope to be an NHL season for them. And you want to start off on the right foot. You want to be one of the best players here, not just within your team, but within the tournament. So an important start of the season for both players.
And if all goes well, both players will be on the score sheet a lot this week. And of course, Dylan Holloway, he looks more physically mature. He looks ready to go. He talked about that a couple of days ago back at Rogers Place. And how about Philip Broberg, putting on 12 pounds of muscle? I think he realized what it kind of takes to kind of last in this league, especially over the course of an 82-game season. That exercise and strength will definitely help him.
Absolutely. And because of that experience he had last year at the NHL level, he got to find that out right up front that, hey, to play defense in the NHL, you got to be very strong. When you have players going to the front of the net, you got to be able to keep them out from the front of the net. So adding that muscle is going to help a lot.
And being around the big boys during that big playoff run, certainly something you can't overlook as well. All right, 2 other first-round picks, maybe not making their mark with the big club this year, but expected to have big season with their respective clubs in Xavier Bourgault and, of course, Reed Schaefer.
And I'm so excited to watch Xavier Bourgault, and this is why. He got into some preseason action last year, goes back to Major Junior in Shawinigan in the Quebec Major Junior League, had a great year. His team wins a championship, wins the league championship. They go to the Memorial Cup. So he had a long year where he was one of the best players in the league. Would have played World Juniors, but opted out due to some injury issues. Can't blame him because he had a very long season. I want to see where he is now a year down the road. Having that development time in junior and doing as well as he did. I can't wait to see what he looks like in this rookie group, but also beyond that. And here's a guy that probably isn't that far away from being an NHL player because of what he was able to do over the course of last year. And Reed Schaefer, another player that had a long playoff run with the Seattle Thunderbirds in the WHL, eventually losing out to the Edmonton Oil Kings in what was a great WHL final. He had a breakout season last year and will more than likely go back to junior in what will be a very good Seattle team. They had a lot of players returning this year, and as a result, they have to be in the mix as one of the odds-on favorites to be a WHL champion. He's a big, strong player. He goes to the front of the net. He can make things happen that way, and I can't wait to see what he does here as well.
The scouting report on Schaefer was, as the year went on, he just continued to get better, and of course, he's hoping that trajectory continues here into this weekend in Penticton. Both guys know how to score. In fact, all 4 guys that I've mentioned know how to score, but one guy who knows how to score but wasn't really highly touted for that when he got drafted going in the 6th round was Matvei Petrov. I mean, what an outstanding season for him last year. First year in the OHL with North Bay. 40 goals, Mooner. 90 points, an incredible showing for him last year.
And that's in his 18-year-old season. He's about to go into his 19-year-old season. I mean, it's quite likely he goes back to the OHL. He was drafted not out of the Canadian Hockey League. He was drafted out of Europe. So, I mean, in theory, could he play in the American League? I mean, he could, but the likelihood is he'll go back to junior. He had an incredible year. We saw him at the development camp in, was that July? I guess that was July. And he looked good. Big shot, big time shot, and has a nose for the net, obviously, with his numbers that he had in the O. But this is a guy that, I mean, with a 6th round pick, sometimes you don't know. Every player has different development curves, and successful organizations, they sometimes hit on later picks, and maybe you need a little bit of luck too, and that could be part of it. But Matvei Petrov, to this point, is progressing in a really good way, and he's given himself every opportunity. We'll see where he goes from here, but I can't wait to watch him here.
He has such a quick and wicked release. Oiler fans, be sure to be on the lookout for number 43 throughout this weekend. All right, one more player that I want to mention, a little bit of a dark horse, because when he was drafted, I don't think the Oilers knew exactly what they had in this hidden gem, and that, of course, being Max Wanner. I know Oilers management and their staff are very delighted with his progression over the last year. What can you tell us about the Hulking defenseman?
Well, here is a guy that his trajectory has really gone up quickly. 3 seasons ago, he was playing 18U AAA, and a couple of seasons ago, well, he played a few games of 18U AAA, and then the rest in the Western League, and has just taken off. Like, big guy that plays a strong game. I was able to watch him last year with the Moose Jaw Warriors when they were playing the Edmonton Oil Kings, and he is, again, we're talking about late picks, and he's a 7th round pick. What's the expectation level? You know, for most teams, it's, well, you know, we'll take a shot and hope for the best, because quite honestly, sometimes they turn out. And Max Wanner might be one of those guys, because he has come so far along. Moose Jaw should have a pretty good team this year in the WHL. Max is going to be a big part of it, and he's going to get a lot of reps and get a lot of ice time. and we'll see where he goes from that, but he's given himself an opportunity.
Speaking of ice time, it should be high for him this weekend. It looks like he will be skating with Philip Broberg on the top pair as we take a look at Oilers practice right behind us. All right, the tournament gets started for Edmonton late afternoon as they take on the Winnipeg Jets prospects. You can watch it right here on EdmontonOilers.com and Oilers TV. Cam, thanks so much for doing this.
All right, thanks for having me.
Many thanks to Tony and Cam Moon for that little piece of information on the Edmonton Oilers. Because of COVID, I haven't been able to stand this close to Jimmy Roy.
It's probably a good thing.
It's nice to see you this close up. Yeah. Jets Director of Player Development. Let's talk about the importance of this weekend for the prospects, period. Nice to have this tournament back, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it definitely is. To get these kids back into the lineup, and in game situations where things are happening faster, more contact, where just that game situation this time of year is better than the summer skates, you know?
Right, and 3 first-round picks here. Let's start with Cole Perfetti.
Yeah.
How important was it that he played in this tournament?
We thought it was really important. Like, he just hasn't played much hockey over this past year with the injury and everything like that. So to get up to speed, like I said, game situations, it just doesn't happen in summer hockey, so this is good.
Chaz Lucia went through ankle surgery. Same situation for him. Just 2 periods in. What'd you see from Chaz?
He's got high skill.
Yeah.
We talk about it all week. He's one of those players that keeps his hands tight together on a stick, very deceiving. He's got skill. Just to get up to the pro level is going to be what he needs to do. Playing against men, the conditioning, stronger on pucks. You seen him take the puck to the net there last shift and get chances. So that's all part of the learning curve.
Let's go back to Cole for a second. One of the things that stood out that he said the other day, the first day of rookie camp, was that it's nice to get to know his fellow prospects like Chaz, Brad Lambert. These guys, big part of the Jets core, hopefully down the road.
And we haven't even had that with the last 3 years. You know, I haven't been able to build a relationship with Cole like I have other kids, but not living in the city and travel around and see other guys. So, you know, for him to be able to do that this time of year is going to be important for the future.
Does that speak to the type of kid he is to say that and to want that opportunity? I think it does.
Yeah, for sure. You know, when we asked him if he wanted to, he was all in, and that's what you want. So it's exciting.
Brad Lambert, kid, a lot of speed, and I talked to you about it, but it's one thing to see it in practice, another thing in a game situation. It's been pretty good, 2 points here so far tonight.
Yeah, and he's a very driven kid. I remember when we drafted him, the night we went back to the hotel, he was down in the gym working out. So it says a lot about how badly he wants it and you know, how hard he works.
What do you say about the year he had last year? Like Bob McKenzie had a top 5 pick. Then he kind of drops. Tough year for him. Was it really tough, challenging when you've talked to him mentally for him a year ago?
Yeah, all those kids that play at a high level, they're expected to produce. You know, they're still maturing. Their bodies are growing. The speed of the game, everything happens fast. So it's just there was a mental barrier for him, but you know what? I think that's going to catch up. His physical size, skill, and stuff is coming. He's so quick. The rest of that game is going to catch up with ice time.
Step away from them for a sec, but the guy is going to be crucial for the Moose this year. What about a guy like Greg Morales? Takes advantage of a great opportunity because of injuries and COVID with the Moose. What about his development?
Yeah, and there's a bunch of them. Like Dean Stewart, you know, and Simon Lundmark, who's on an inch contract, but you know, there's a lot of them. But Craig has really done. He's done a good job on the skill level, coming off his injury and stuff like that. So he's been good.
What about Wyatt Bongiovanni? Plays his last year in college, captain. Doesn't get a chance, I think, to process that because immediately jumps to the Moose. What are you looking for from him this year?
He's a very high character kid. You know, that to work his way into the lineup and prove that he belongs in the American League. To start there is going to be a challenge, but he's a high character kid, hard worker. He's going to do great.
Simon Lamarck just talked about him a little bit. Made it hard for the coaching staff to take him out of the lineup. Something nice. What does that say about him?
Yeah, another guy with the learning curve of trying to stand in a lineup and what he needs to do. It's been a great year for him last year, but we expect bigger things coming in this year.
Thank you so much, Jimmy. I
Thanks,
appreciate
Jimmy.
the time. Good to see you.
Thanks.
Let's throw things now. The Pride Cup was held in Edmonton this past summer in support of the LGBTQ community. Let's take a look.
It's a historic day as Ice District Plaza has welcomed the first ever Pride Cup Ball Hockey Championship, an event dedicated to promoting diversity, equality, and inclusion through sport.
Well, we wanted to be able to activate sports, community sports right here in Ice Plaza. This was a wonderful way for us to tie into our LGBTQ2+ community and really give an opportunity for them to come and enjoy Ice Plaza.
It was really important for us with the Oilers to host an event outside of June, being Pride Month, because we wanted to show our community that Pride 365 means something. It's not 1 month, it's 12 months of the year, it's every day of the year. And we just thought it was fitting to put on a ball hockey tournament, showcase this fantastic Ice District Plaza, and have our friends, the Edmonton Rage and the Calgary Pioneers, continue this commitment of the Battle of Alberta and do it in the summer and just get the community excited.
This is the type of event that we need in our city. People will say to me, why do we need events like this? Why do we need Pride? Why do we need to fly our flags? That sort of thing. And the reality is there are still a lot of people in our city and across our province who aren't safe to be who they are or to love who they want to love. And so it's on all of us, to speak out and to stand up and to show up like this, right? To show that Edmonton is an inclusive, loving, welcoming city. And hey, Edmonton showed up today.
It's so amazing, on so many levels, obviously because I'm a member of the community myself, but to be able to do this outside in the beautiful sun, with two really cool teams, and I know a lot of the members of both teams, so to be part of this is kind of a dream for me, so I'm excited.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Welcome back to the 2022 Young Stars Tournament live from Penticton, British Columbia. I'm Jack Michaels along with Jamie Thomas. 2-2 after 2, Jamie, and what a deflection. Can he do that again if he asked him to?
I don't think so. And, of course, if you're Dean Stewart, you're a little frustrated, and especially after getting shoved into the boards afterwards. Then Jets tie the game up with a power play of their own, and you and I were talking before the game about the special teams weren't going to be too good, but the power plays look pretty good, and that's all Cole Perfetti as he finds Greg Morales after not giving up. There's Morales moving his way away, finding an open seam, hits the back of the net. Jets and Oilers tied at 2, one power play goal each from the Edmonton Oilers and Winnipeg Jets here after 40 minutes.
Yeah, I called that beautifully, didn't I? The power plays are 2 for 3. I know what I'm talking about, I swear.
I thought you sounded very intelligent when you were talking about it. It makes sense.
I could sell it, but
yes.
Didn't work out. Shots on goal in that second period, 10-8 in favor of the Oilers. A combined 19-13 through 40 minutes as Ryan Fanti limbering up as he gets set for the start of the third period. Arvid Holm, his opposite for the Winnipeg Jets. And Jamie, we've talked at length about how good Perfetti and certainly Lambert have been.
Yeah.
Anyone else kind of off the radar from a Jets perspective that you would kind of single out?
Yeah, I thought Wyatt Bongiovanni's kind of looked pretty comfortable here as I talked with Jimmy Roy, the director of player development for the Winnipeg Jets. Wyatt played in the NCAA, closed out his career, was a captain there. So you have that emotion of playing your final games with your teammates in college. Then you make the immediate transition, sign your pro contract, join the Manitoba Moose. Hadn't had a lot of time to process it. Here's a great opportunity for him to show what he has and build off that, and hopefully build into that in a good year in the American Hockey League with the Manitoba Moose.
Yeah, and I'd have to say, I mean, we had Tyler Wright on, and he talked a little bit about Max Wanner, and that's one of the guys kind of, again, further down the draft lineup in terms of where he was picked. He was a 7th rounder in 21, and he, along with Petrov, are kind of late round picks. And as you know, Jamie, to have true depth in your organization, you need to hit 1 or 2 of those every so often. You know, those 6th and 7th rounders, that's how you truly build depth organization-wide.
Yeah, pretty easy. Well, I would say easy most times, but those 1st and 2nd rounders, you got a good idea, but that's where it comes from. And you look back and go, okay, look at this guy. Wow, we got him late. You know, Connor Hellebuyck was a 5th round draft pick. You know, it's hard to find your number 1 goaltender and an elite goaltender in the 5th round. So that's where the scouting comes in, and you got to be happy with the way both these organizations have built depth-wise through the draft and signings.
And again, Winnipeg finally having a full complement of draft picks this year after so many years kind of chasing it, being perennial contenders in the Western Conference, but ultimately not being able to qualify for the Stanley Cup Final. And now the Oilers in a potential position where, having not surrendered their last 4 first-round picks, I believe Edmonton and Minnesota are the only teams inside the top 12 last year where that's the case. This might be the year from an Oiler perspective where you may consider parting with a first-round pick, as they are in a position I think that Winnipeg was in just a couple of years ago. 2-2 early in the 3rd, and it's a shot from the point taken by Philip Broberg that's kicked aside by Holm. Broberg again, this time a slap shot, and that might have grazed the glove on its way by, and then back through center, and Wanner looked behind him. I think he thought he might be guilty of a trip. Nothing forthcoming. And Perfetti with a simple dump in that Fanny able to clear without incident. On the move, Hamblin. Holloway creating space for himself. Maintaining control around Morelos to the net, and that was a tough stop made by Holm. Handcuffed him, but well positioned. One-timer Holloway, and a driving save made by Holm as he pushed off with the right skate in time to get in front of Dylan Holloway. The one highlight reel save of the night that we've seen.
Right, and stop the breakaway, closing for final 5 minutes of the second period as well. So after giving up that second goal, Arvid Holm has really locked things down here for the Winnipeg Jets, and that's just a glorious chance there on that one-timer. And Holm getting over and lunging and making the stop.
Shot off the face-off from Matvei Petrov, and another save made by Holm. Rebound. Plucked off Wilson by Noah Philp. Feeds the point. Kielb, who opened the scoring for the Oilers, sees it dislodged, and now Petrov has to maintain at center. He'll dump and chase. Holm to play it. Nifty play by Lambert. And on to Torgerson. Tried to duck inside Kesselring to no avail. Pumped out to Petrov. Tullio with support, couldn't get there in time. Quick clear, Lambert from Torgerson. Looks for a trailer. None presents, so we'll take a shot that's easily sticked aside by Fanti. Giveaway by Philp. And now it's Isaac Johnson for the Winnipeg Jets. Bertholet taken hard against the boards by his fellow number 92. That's Noah Dory. Henry Nikkanen wrapped up, drilled against the boards by Kesselring. Centering pass off a skate, and Fanti does well to control the puck. 2.25 gone by in the 3rd period.
One of the things I love about this tournament, Jack, is traveling with the prospects. You get a great opportunity to talk to them, right? Things are a little slow right now as main camp gets on the way here. And speaking of Henry Nikkanen, played in Finland, of course, played first experience of North American ice, and he said he enjoyed playing in North America a lot more. He said back in Finland, it's more of a chess game. It's two teams waiting to make a mistake.
Reloading, regrouping.
And waiting for the other team to make a mistake, where you get to be more creative and use your skill a lot more in the North American game. And Manitoba Moose hoping that Henry Niikanen can build off that and show some of that skill that he had.
Well, he certainly got the frame.
Yep, big kid.
Edmonton, Winnipeg will also see one another in the preseason opener. Speaking of main camp, as Jamie was alluding to. And that'll be on September the 25th in Edmonton, 4 Mountain, 5 Central. Quick dish off from home. Hard rip by Kuzmin. Kicked off the pads of Fanti. Warner wrapping up. Loose puck corralled and cleared by Angaris. Poked off the stick of Zilkin. And now winning a battle is Carter Savoy. Bursting in with speed. Hits Kemp. Wrist shot misses short side. Rebound clattered out. Keeled from long range. Kemp. Schaefer. Shot into traffic. Blocked by Boland. And cleared by Zilkin. Berthollet stole it from Kemp. Wrist shot, save Fanti, and he juggled, able to maintain. I mentioned last year his season ended in the regional final. How about this? The year prior, they survive a 5 overtime game, does Minnesota Duluth, and beats North Dakota. Fanti did not start that game, but the goaltender cramped up. The starter cramped up. He came in the fourth overtime, got the win.
Yeah.
So now you're going to the Frozen Four. What happens? Fanti tests positive for COVID. Only player couldn't go to the Frozen Four. And Minnesota Duluth's season ended there. Puck cleared out of play. So he had an eventful collegiate career.
And you can understand why a goaltender would cramp up in that situation.
Oh.
And it's like,
well, I guess the starter made something like 58 saves. So he played great. Fanti came in, ended up getting the win over North Dakota, and then COVID showed up. Face-off win for Cole Dubinsky. And the puck launched down the left-hand side. This will be icing against Edmonton with 3.5 gone by in the third period. Of course, Edmonton and Winnipeg, I mentioned they open the preseason. They'll also see one another, of course, in Winnipeg. Traditionally, the Jets and Oilers always play one another twice in the preseason.
You guys have a rare trip to Montreal in the preseason. It's not very often Winnipeg heads out east during the preseason, so strange scheduling going on there.
Morales whipped one wide. Chason unable to clear. Fanti dishes off, and it's Dory off the glass and out. Hoisted back in by Morales. He has a power play goal in this game. It actually tied it up midway through the second. Cleared by the Oilers down the ice. This time they'll wave off icing. Morales first on the puck. Up to Perfetti. 2 Oilers give chase. Kesselring finally able to knife it free, but Perfetti right back on it. And around Dubinsky. High slot shot. Kicked aside by Kesselring. Johannesson unable to get it through. Dubinsky got a piece. Johannesson across, and that was a tough pass into the feet of Kubicek, and Winnipeg will reload.
Kubicek and Johannesson, polar opposites of one another. You got a skilled, diminutive defenseman in Johannesson, and you got Kubicek, just brawny, big hit, open ice hits, good first pass. 2 different types of players pairing together here tonight for the Winnipeg Jets.
Kubicek, 5 years in the Edmonton Oil Kings program, and of course, part of the Memorial Cup team and Western Hockey League Championship Club from this past season. Hamblin tried to feed Holloway in front. Holloway back on the puck and lets one fly. Caromed off Hamblin and wide. Broberg back to Hamblin. One-handed up the ice by Kuzmin, and now Torgerson trying to get around Warner. Able to cut him off and easily spin it back through center. Warner talked about how his play embodied that of former Oiler Adam Larson. Kind of a stay-at-home right-handed shot whose physicality can be a difference. Broberg off to Phil Kemp. Philp.
Adam Larson must have been a real challenge to go on without him. Just such a strong, steady defenseman in the organization for the Oilers, and now they're slowly starting to get away from him, and the loss of him in the back end with some quality players.
Well, Bouchard's emergence certainly softened the blow. 40-point season last year, and that was without getting significant power play time at all. Johannesson spilled in. Of course, Tyson Barrie, a fixture on Edmonton's first power play unit. Berthollet in traffic. And Kielb helps usher that puck down the left-hand side. 6.5 gone by in this third period. No scoring thus far in the third. Lambert in the first. Kielb for Edmonton. Then Kesselring gave the Oilers a brief lead, which was answered a minute 40 later by Morelos scoring on the power play. That's where we sit 2-2 as a shot from the point deflects out of play, and Holm will await a face-off to his right.
Just before we came in the second mission, Jimmy Roy, the director of player development for the Winnipeg Jets, he's just asked him what he thought, and he just said, you're starting to see the fatigue settling in here. A lot of tired players out there. They haven't played a full game in a long time.
The nerves and adrenaline are wearing off, right?
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, that first game comes with it a combustible mix of energy that can wear you out a little bit as you move along. Holm handling a tough shot up near his clavicle. Lucius able to clear. And now Zilkin. Lucius with Warner back. Shot smothered. Rebound Broberg. Draped all over Lundmark. And now Warner ahead for Savoy. Puck on edge. Retrieved by Zilkin. Danny Zilkin grew up in Russia but identifies as North American. And now turned over. Kemp looking to create. Threw it behind. Pinching hard is Kielb with a little spin move, and that was taken away by Morelos. Kuzman. Kemp holds his ground, and as a result, Lucius goes nowhere.
Lucius is lucky that wasn't a lot worse. It could have been a lot worse when that hit from Kemp, but with Lucius taking that blind pass.
Cam Bites trying to wrap around, denied by Holm. Now it's Doria, shot. That was sent ricocheting wide. Kesselring into traffic, and Holm got a piece. Jason sniffing around, unable to tip it home. We remain tied at 2. Bongiovanni, an outlet, picked up at center. Morelos coughed it up, got it back from Jason. And now with Bongiovanni, another shot blocked, and that one hobbled significantly. Kesselring laboring to get back on his feet as the Oilers look to clear, and Cam Bites does exactly that, golfing it to the Winnipeg line. Johannesson will send it right back in. Warner. Bourgault. Hamlin cuts to his left around Lucius. Holloway onside. Shot off the side of the net, and then Hamlin was taken out. Bongiovanni the clear. Lambert with a goal and an assist tonight. Centering pass canceled out, but then turned over to Lucius by Warner. Lucius unable to slip one free, and now it's 3-on-1 for Edmonton. Broberg jumps up, tried to center, broken up, and then Holloway mishandled. He would have had a gorgeous chance coming down the slot. Instead, it's Torgerson. Let one fly that was wide of target. Stays with it. Broberg had it stripped. Torgerson finally bumped off, and here's a clear by Kemp. Kuzman the other way. Nikkanen unable to create. Tullio the other way. Nikkanen back on it. Taken down from one knee. He'll shoot it in. Kesselring Up the left-hand side for Petrov. Halfway through this third period, tied at 2. Kielba shot. Sent weakly wide by Wilson. Rebound thrust in front. Philp tried to set the table for Petrov. It wasn't there. Philp snatches it right back. Shot, save, home. And he'll cover with 9:34 to go in this third period. The opener of the Young Stars tournament from Penticton. Tied at 2 between the Oilers and the Jets.
Scale the Skaha Bluffs. Barrel down the twisted trails. Paddle through those serene waters. Penticton has it all and more. Stroll down to the farmer's market. Sample the local bounty and revel in our natural beauty. Penticton, the mecca of adventure, the place for everyone. Go to visitpenticton.com and plan your trip now.
Penticton, BC offers so much to see and do. Leave the keys and explore on foot, by bike, or paddling for an experience that's almost fuel-free. Out in the fresh Okanagan air, not only are you saving money, you're feeling better with exercise and the peace of mind that comes through responsible and sustainable travel. Feel the freedom of exploring Penticton fuel-free. Almost. Learn more at visitpenticton.com.
2-2. Shots are 26-18 in favor of the Edmonton Oilers, but that man, Arvid Holm, playing an outstanding third period. He's had a couple of shots, a couple of real good looks, and made it look routine.
Absolutely, and we talked a lot about Brad Lammer's got 2 points here tonight. Cole Perfetti's looked good, but I think since the 2-1 goal, Arvid Holm, you could argue, has been the Jets' best player as this game has worn along. And just a reminder for anybody, if it's 2-2 now, in case of overtime, it's 5 minutes to 3-on-3. NHL rules.
There it is.
Still tied, 3-player shootout.
Say no more.
Sudden death is still tied. Do we have it in us to do overtime and a shootout?
Oh, absolutely,
All
Jamie.
right, all right.
First out of the gate, might as well have OT.
Why not?
So we've got the Oilers next in action tomorrow at 8:30. And they'll be taking on the Calgary Flames. Winnipeg, its next game against Vancouver. That'll be a Sunday matinee, 4 Central. Off the draw, it'll be Isaac Johnson. Bourgault takes over, reels it in, and finds, or he tried to find Holloway. That play disrupted, and it's the Jets, T-to-D. Johannesson. Johnson. Holloway draped all over him, takes the puck away easily. Kesselring. Back to Holloway. Tucked in, but Kubicek there to cut the play off, and Johnson guides it safely back to center. Bounced off a leg, gobbled up. Holloway. Bourgault, the return pass. Holloway from the corner. Tried to set up Bourgault. Ricocheted, Hamlin in front. Bounced around, and Bourgault could not pounce on that loose puck. Hamlin. Holloway. Centering pass, and Bourgault's shot partially tipped. Hamlin tripped up. Could not get to the rebound. Bolin does and send it off the glass. Nice play at the point to keep the zone by Holloway, but now Edmonton must change.
After a pretty good, pretty quiet second period from Bourgault, that's an elite pass that he just fed right there. It almost led to a glorious scoring chance for the Oilers.
Perfetti. Knocked away from behind by Petrov. Tullio sprints in. And he's drawn a penalty against Kuzman. This will be a hooking call. Here's a shot. Broberg, and another good save by Holm. Square to the shooter with no rebound. But now we'll have hooking. A no-doubter against Kuzman. And Edmonton, who has converted its only prior power play tonight, will get a chance to regain the lead with 8:01 to go in the third.
Yes, there's no question about that. As you get the one hand off the stick gets in underneath the hands, lifts it up, and easy call for the referees. And it has been all about the man advantage, the power plays for these two teams here this evening. Let's see if the Jets penalty kill can get a big stop here after you mentioned a solid first power play for the Edmonton Oilers back in the first period.
Holm's been impressive as this game has moved along. Remember, one of the goals, absolutely no chance. In fact, I'd say neither goal he had a real opportunity to stop. Bourgault. His shot tipped wide. Rebound Nikkanen had a chance to clear. Second effort, he did. I mean, Kiel with that no look from Savoy, 1 times at home. No chance on that goal. And, of course, the redirect inadvertently by Stewart, again, top corner. When Holmes had a chance to stop it, he stopped it. Dylan Holloway looking to change that. Broberg, Bourgault in front. Hamblin, Holloway couldn't finish. Holm, another quality stop and a clear from Berthollet.
What Holm you're seeing from here is he's not putting himself out of the play as he's lunging over. He's just using that lower body strength. He's keeping himself under control to allow himself to make the save but not be out of the play after making that save.
And we saw that early when Savoy kind of toe dragged his way in. He didn't commit. Again, a sign of an experienced guy, not just the 1 year in the American Hockey League, but 4 years of pro hockey in Sweden. Savoy and Philp with a second unit back out. This was the unit that accounted for the Oilers' earlier power play goal. But Lundmark is going to escape and clear down the ice, and the Oilers down to 30 seconds on their power play. 6.5 left in regulation. The game tied at 2. Savoy. Schaefer wires it in. Philp over Strode. Warner there to cut it off. Philp checked off the puck. Warner there with support. Bolin pestering. Savoy. Schaefer up top. 5 seconds on the power play now. And a nice play far side by Stewart, who I believe, is Dean Stewart not the oldest guy here? I think he's at 24. Certainly the oldest on the Winnipeg roster. Product of the University of Nebraska at Omaha. Wilson turned it over. A steal at center. A blast and a save made on Kiel, who was looking for his second of the night. And again, Holm with no rebound.
And out on the top of his crease, so that you're not going to beat him through that because of the size of the body taking away the net. And again, no rebound. And going back to Dean Stewart, that play in the defensive end of the rink is a guy that's played pro hockey for a while, comfortable with what he is as a player and not trying to do too much.
I mentioned, earlier Lambert was the second pick in the first round for the Winnipeg Jets. Yep. We mentioned Stewart was from the University of Nebraska, Omaha. You actually have a player from the state of Nebraska, first in the U.S. national program, and that's Rutger McGroarty, who's not here.
Due to the rules because of the NCAA, and they're in school.
Right. Drafted.
Fans will get a look at him right away. He's 14th overall.
Yep. And that's, as you know, where Holloway went 2 years prior. Hamblin, quick dish. Bourgault, a backhander, and he missed. Pretty play, but Bourgault missing the net. Tried to go top left corner. And the game remains tied at 2. What a look, though.
Great play on that rush, and all kinds of skills shown there by Bourgault.
Here's a steal by Lucius. Closing quickly, however. Kesselring pried it loose, and now Angaris will swoop in. Cuts behind, backhands one over to Kesselring. Open man, drive Dorian, a tough save made by Holm. Kesselring backhander, and again Holm got a piece. Big hop. Savoy, Angaris stumbled, but maintained for Kesselring. 4.25 left in regulation. Kesselring gets it back. Shot sent wide. Angaris trying to create. Now it's Noah Dory again. Threw it around the boards. Warner will step up. Collided with Lambert. Taken away by Lucius. Canceled out immediately by Schaefer. And nudged ahead for Tullio. Here's Ty Tullio. 40-goal campaign a year ago. Battling his way through traffic. An Oshawa General. Warner. Put it behind. In fact, there were 11 guys last year in the Ontario Hockey League who scored 40, and the Oilers have 2 of them.
Looks like offensive hockey's starting to come back, right? You get a lot more.
Well, we see it at the NHL level.
Yeah, you love to see Austin Matthews 60 goals. Like it's a great time for offense in the league right now.
Phil in from the right-hand side. I mean, what was it? 6-7 years ago, Jamie Benn wins the scoring title with 87 points.
You don't want to see that again.
And now, 87 points, lucky to be in the top 30. What a save by Fanti off a loose puck. Got it with a headgear and then snared a low shot from Isaac Johnson. First one caught him right in the melon, and he held sway and was able to scoop up the rebound as well.
Well, we got to give full credit to Ryan Fanti. He has not been busy at all here in the latter part of the third, and that's a weird bounce. And Henry Niikanen with the quick backhand catches Fanti in the mask, and then he stays square to the shooter and makes the glove save.
Well, and again, he hasn't seen a lot of pucks here in this third period, or really for the game. And that chance, as you pointed out, materialized out of nothing. Off the draw, lob down the ice. Maybe too much on it from Kesselring as it gets in on edge, but Bourgault with the speed able to negate the icing call. And now you've got an opportunity for Perfetti. Turned it over, though, right in front. Holloway backdoor, wrist shot, score! Hamblin, the go-ahead goal. It's 3-2 Edmonton with 2:38 to play.
Cole Perfetti just making one too many moves in front of his own net there, and the Oilers are all over that. Arvid Holm makes the first save, and Hamblin just stays with it, and eventually fires that puck in behind Arvid Holm. So there's the move. He's trying to go behind the net, takes a bad bounce, and after many bounces, ends up on the stick of Hamblin, and it goes in the back of the net. No chance for Arvid Holm.
And that's really the continual theme we've had tonight is Holm. As you said, he made the first save, and he almost got the second one. But when the Oilers have scored, he has not had much of an opportunity to stop the puck. So 2.5 to play. Little give and go. Angaras set up by Savoy. Could not break free down the middle, and ultimately was peeled off the puck, dug out by Zilkin. Shot from the point, stick save Fanti, batted out of midair. And now trying to shake himself free was Keeled. Was he held? Is that Stewart on a hold? I think it might be Stewart. They're going to get him for hooking. Keeled was trying to escape the zone, and I think this is on Stewart.
It is 100% going in for the hook there, and he's trying to force the turnover, gets a little, not enough good body position, forced to take the penalty, and it's going to get a little bit harder for the Winnipeg Jets to tie this hockey game. Short-handed with 2:06 left to go here in this third period.
Yeah, 6-second differential now. Of course, if Winnipeg should, at some point with maybe a minute to go, gain possession of the offensive zone, you could see them pull home and go even strength, essentially, at 5-on-5. We shall see how this power play develops for Edmonton. 1 of 2 tonight.
And you got Brad Lambert and Henry Niikanen out there killing penalties, so you're thinking a little bit of offense here with the Jets. So same with Mark Morrison.
Built, Bourgault, and Holloway. Well, Morrison was a noted offensive player. I don't think he was necessarily known for his back checking during his playing days. Heck of an offensive player. Broberg and Warner. I can say that. Mo knows me.
Craig Eisinger said to me yesterday that Mark Morrison, one of the best half-wall players he's ever seen.
Oh, I mean, just ridiculous skill. Holloway will chip it down low. I'm not sure Holloway knew that net was empty, as they had already pulled the goaltender, and Holloway looked up and the net was vacated as he slid it back beneath the goal line. So the Jets will go even strength here. 5-on-5 with the net empty. Them down a man. Perfetti. High slot shot. Might have grazed the blocker on its way by of Fanti. And now with the net empty, a race between Bourgault and Kubicek, who got to it first for Winnipeg. Johannesson taken down with a minute to go, and that's going to be a penalty against Edmonton. So now you've got essentially a 4-on-4 with the pulled goaltender. The Jets can go 5-on-4, and the guilty party will be Xavier Bourgault.
What Johannesson does right there is he keeps the legs moving, right? Keeps skating, and Forces Bourgault, got the stick in the leg area, and down goes the young defenseman for the Winnipeg Jets. And a fascinating situation here. As
they're taking a timeout.
Yep.
So the Jets want to talk it over. Bourgault, who of course helped create the turnover that led to the go-ahead goal by Hamlin, now is in the box, and the Jets will be on the power play looking to tie this game in a contest where they've been outshot 32-22. They led 1-0. The Oilers came back to lead at 2-1. Morelos tied it for the Jets at 2-2, but then the turnover by Perfetti cashed in by Hamlin as the Oilers and their assistant coach at the American League level, Keith McCambridge, talk about how they want to defend here over the final 57.6.
They're making sure one extra guy out there, and Torgerson goes back to the bench. 5-on-4 here with the empty net behind them.
Perfetti against Hamlin, who's joined by Kesselring, Holloway, and Kemp, who comes up with the puck off the face-off, and he'll just drill it off the boards down the ice. And I think but also I think the 5-on-4 might have played with Kemp a little bit, realizing that it's an even strength situation. You can't simply ice the puck at will and not expect a whistle, so it comes right back into the Oilers zone. He was not under much pressure there. But again, it's 5-on-4. It feels like you're shorthanded. Kemp again. This time, backhands it softly off the boards, and the Jets must regroup at center without the benefit of an icing call. Perfetti sends a one-bouncer in on net, and Fanti will launch one up the left-hand side, confidently playing the puck. Jets at center, smacked in by Morelos. Kesselring shields him from the puck. Kemp tied up in the corner. Kesselring has it back. Kesselring shadowing him. Johannesson, Perfetti. Open man, Lambert, a wrist shot, and that missed high glove. Smacked off the glass. 12 seconds to go. Oilers lead at 3-2, trying to hang on. Perfetti looking to chisel it free and get one more chance. A shot angled to the corner by Fanti. Morelos has to hurry. His centering pass broken up in the horn. And the Oilers will prevail in the Young Stars opener by a final of 3-2. James Hamlin, the man wearing the C for the Oilers at this Young Stars tournament, the game-winning goal with 2:38 to play.
Great finish to this hockey game. A little choppy to start. Started some momentum in the second period and a highly entertaining third period, and a great goaltending performance from Arvid Holm and the Winnipeg Jets.
No question. Had no chance on any of the 3 goals that were scored by the Oilers tonight, as they got 3 on 32 shots. Winnipeg countered with just 23. The shots in the final period, 13-10 in favor of Edmonton. And Ryan Fanti, who began his pro career with a win late season for Bakersfield, celebrates a win at the Young Stars tournament.
And he has to be given credit. He wasn't very busy in the third period. He makes the big save to keep it a 3-2 hockey game. And so full credit to Ryan Fanti to have that mental toughness to not be busy, but make the save when it was required late in the third period.
And off that strange bounce on Niikanen, probably the save of the game from his perspective, because at that point, of course, the Jets could have taken the lead.
And it's all about positioning. So, you may say that, that puck hit him in the mask, but if he's not in the right place, that's not hitting him in the mask. That's going in behind him, and it's a tie hockey game.
So again, this is the first of 6 games at the upcoming Young Stars tournament. You see the full slate before you. The Oilers next in action tomorrow night. That's an 8:30 Mountain start. And then on Sunday, my broadcast partner tonight will be back in action himself, 4 Central, as the Jets take on the Vancouver Canucks. The Young Stars tournament, it's just good to be back.
That sure is. Nice to work with you, my friend. First time together, but good to get things underway and a nice hockey game here tonight.
And just think, in a few weeks, we won't even speak because the games will be for real, and you'll give me the high,
Hi, Jack.
Yeah, exactly, and that's
it. Jamie, nope.
Yeah, exactly.
Nope. Yeah.
We'll be back to bitter sworn enemies. Jamie Thomas, it's been a pleasure working with you, and we will sign off for now from the South Okanagan Event Center, where in the opener, Edmonton 3, Winnipeg 2. That's your final. Ladies and gentlemen, the pleasure has been all ours.